let's talk about FIFA and the latest FIFA. I feel like FIFA is only really in the headlines if there's a World Cup or if there's a row.
Honestly, they get themselves involved in things like.
And now, what are they now involved in?
So there's a footballer who plays for this club called Sparta Prague in the Czech Republic. His name is Jakub. Let me see if I got his name right. Jakub Jankto. If I got his name right, and he's recently come out as gay. He came out in a video saying I'm homosexual, etc., etc. And generally,
a very dramatic video. He's sort of in.
Yeah,
he looks like he's been held hostage or something. But
with black and white and everything. But,
artistic expression.
So he's come out. He's gay. Okay, he's been generally supported by the football community at large. England captain Liam Wilson came out and basically said she's going to wear the One Love armband to support her.
Super.
And that's cool and dandy. But then FIFA come out and basically say that we stand with him as well. And the amount FIFA got dragged in the Twitter comment section because they were seen essentially to be hypocrites. They just had a World Cup in Qatar, where they've been accused of being very, very, very anti-LGBT, maybe because of their stance, maybe because they're more of a religious country, maybe because they'd had just certain attitudes towards gay people are not the best. But at the end of the day, they're in an anti-LGBT country. This is what FIFA have done. They threatened during the World Cup. They threatened to sanction players if they wanted to wear pro-LGBT armbands. They upheld a ban on spectators trying to go into the stadiums wearing LGBT pride rainbow flags, anything to do with that. They supported Qatar's decision to deport a pitch invader who went on wearing an LGBT pride shirt as well. So they went out of their way to try to please Qatar in being anti-LGBT. And so to a lot of people, it's this FIFA saying basically, we care about LGBT rights until there's money to be made or to be lost. And then nowadays, our values can be bought essentially. We're gay up until the point where Qatar writes us a check for £9 billion. And then, because FIFA Al Jazeera said that FIFA, this World Cup that went December gone, this World Cup was it made the most money out of any World Cup in history. It made just under $8.2 billion.
Well, what do you say then to people because I think what the natural response, by the way, I get what you're saying. I think I have a big issue when companies just co-opt or just jump and whatever seems popular online when that's pretty easy to write tweets. I mean, I can write a tweet in support of him right now. Yeah. But having to, make a business decision is way harder. So I get you. But what about people who say, well, mate, things are quite complicated in that there's competing things going on here. So you've got sort of, the LGBTQ movement, but you've also got the fact that Qatar, being the host of the World Cup, was the first time a country in the Middle East, am I correct? Yeah. Actually had the chance to host a World Cup. So you can't have everything be perfect, right? So if that's one breakthrough, but then it means, unfortunately, their current laws are X, Y, and Z, and you have to respect their culture, respect their laws. It's part of having them be hosts. The world isn't perfect, and if Qatar if FIFA only went to countries that all their laws are kosher or for want of a better term, are perfect, no one will be able to host the World Cup, surely. That's true. But I think it depends on what FIFA's values are. I think FIFA have kind of shot themselves in the foot by openly supporting players who have come out of gay, and the reason why I say that is because once you decide to support a particular cause, it becomes political. And when it becomes political, your fans or your supporters will expect you, who are part of that political movement, will expect you to kind of support them and back them. So FIFA claims to be an apolitical organisation, but it's got itself involved in lots of political movements in the suppose what they would say is that it shouldn't be political. Like people's rights to bodily autonomy, to do whatever they want with their body, shouldn't be like political.
I know, but I agree with you, but that includes sexuality, and you could argue that if it's not political, then you've kind of almost made it political by going out of your way to please a country that is anti-gay in that way. Yeah. So you can't really have it both ways. It's not to say that the West is perfect, because you made a good point about if everyone who is morally clean enough to host the World Cup. I heard Piers Morgan talking the other day about who should the UK hold the World Cup, despite our previous sins. We were involved in the slave trade to black people hundreds of years ago. More recently, we're involved in an illegal war led by Tony Blair. Lots of deaths on our hands. Are we morally clean enough to host the World Cup?
This is the point. And for me, I think I guess my cop out of these things is always to say I'm a libertarian. But in a sense, a part of me does kind of go, well, maybe we just need to go back to a time where organizations were organizations. And this new branding thing is maybe one of the issues we have, is an organization's attempt to be more than an organization, to have a voice, to have a say in how the world's governed. I know some people would say, well, if you have a lot of power, it's your responsibility to do that. But at the same time, as you said, it does create these new problems where now a company has to essentially work out how far is too far. Should you support... I mean, obviously you should support crises and the humanitarian crisis, but which ones are you going to support? The closest ones to you?
Yeah.
Or what's happening with, like, when it comes to Palestine and say Israel, where do you sit on that? Like, should organizations really have a position as per what's happening with Palestine and Israel?
I mean, it depends, because unfortunately when you get involved in social politics, there's lots of money to be made on it. So a lot of these companies are not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it because they want to earn a few bob, for lack of a better term. So if there's money to be made, for example, from Black Lives Matter, they might do that. If there's money to be made from LGBT lobbies, they might do that. But as soon as there's no money to be made from it, or as soon as there's more money to be made somewhere else, their loyalty is to whoever writes the biggest check. And at the end of the day,
it's very important for people to know that when they're on Twitter, they're interacting with a Twitter manager, but they're not interacting with the organization. I think that's where people get confused, is that they go, oh my gosh, Lidl is so progressive. And you're like, no. The Twitter manager wrote progressive tweets.
Yes.
But the organization is the way profit maximizing entity. In fact, that's the first thing you learn in like business A level, right? Or business GCSE is what's the primary objective of a business? Is to maximize profits.
To make money, yeah.
So in that sense, whatever they do, even if it's good in the short term, often is good in so much as it helps them make profits. Once we realize that, we stop this idea of like benign brands. And Google was really, remember how successful Google was in making us think like their office was just a playpen of balls and table tennis tables and slides. And
I remember.
Wow, they stand for so much. And it's like, when they have board meetings, they talk about numbers and money, where things are. Yes, there's a chief impact officer, but it's still about money.
I mean, it's kind of indicative of what we believe that there's a sort of merging of business acumen and social justice, where customers or people who support a particular brand want a bit more from their brand. They want a bit more. They want to see their company actually stand with them, even when there's no money to be made in the first place. So for FIFA to do this to a lot of their gay fans, this is not good enough. Saying that, they support this footballer, it's gay. Anyone can write a tweet and support, he's free. But at the expense of £8 or £9 billion at the World Cup, things like that, are you willing to really put your money where your mouth is? Are you willing to allow players to go against Qatar's laws and allow them to wear pro-gay armbands? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, is what they're saying. And a lot of people want more from their organizations, and unfortunately reality is money talks and BS walks. It's as simple as that.
That sounds like a phrase to put on a t-shirt or something. I mean, we'll keep watching. We'll keep watching the story, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond to this, and if they respond, and what else they stand out for in the future.
No worries.
Hey, thank you for taking time to watch that video. Here at the Common Sense Network, we thrive on exposing you to different ideas. If you're someone who likes ideas, you like learning new things, hit the subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you're first to hear when we have a new video out.